Welcome to the third mini lecture in the series on American Industrial Revolution, Big Business. With the expansion of industry in the United States, we see an increased influence as well as wealth in big business and a new demand for government regulations. This unit's vocabulary terms include laissez-faire, social Darwinism, vertical integration, horizontal integration, J.P. Morgan, John D. Rockefeller, and the Sherman Antitrust Act. Timing couldn't be more right for big businesses. The U.S. economy welcomed entrepreneurs willing to work hard to create wealth. The U.S. economy is based on free enterprise and is driven by competition and consumer demand. Laissez-faire capitalism is when the government takes a hands-off approach with business. However, business leaders are in favor of protective tariffs. Protective tariff is a tax intended to increase prices on imports, which protects a country's industries from foreign competition. Social Darwinism is a theory that humans, like animals, are subject to the same laws of natural selection and compete in a struggle for existence, which results in a survival of the fittest. Economists use the theory of social Darwinism to justify laissez-faire. The idea of survival and success of the most capable appeals to the wealthy. Proponents of social Darwinism see riches as a sign of God's favor, so if you're poor, it must be because you're lazy or inferior. Business owners did anything in their power to maximize their profits, get rid of any competition, and control all forms of production. Andrew Carnegie searches for ways to make better products as cheap as possible. He hires talented staff, offers company stocks, and promotes competition. Carnegie used vertical integration, which means he bought out suppliers to control all the materials needed in the steel industry. He also used horizontal integration, which means he would merge with competing companies. In the end, Carnegie controlled almost the entire steel industry. Many entrepreneurs turned to eliminating the competition entirely. J.P. Morgan created holding companies that bought up competing railroads. Once he owned a lot of railroads, he merged them into one, and ultimately he earned a fortune in the railroad business. Standard Oil Company founder John D. Rockefeller formed a trust to run separate companies as if they were one. Many business owners within the same industry would pool their businesses to fix prices and eliminate competition altogether. The formation of pools, trusts, and holding companies helped to create monopolies. These monopolies controlled production, wages, and prices. Monopolies didn't just hurt the consumer, they also hurt the workers as well. Big business in the era of the Industrial Revolution has left a mixed legacy. Many Americans admire the captains of industry because they made the economy more productive, and oftentimes these leaders in big business were very philanthropic. On the other hand, critics call the industries robber barons because they took advantage of the consumers and the workers, and oftentimes they unfairly squeezed out their competition. In the time of all this big business, the government is in fear that regulations will hurt the economy. However, the government does grow uneasy about the power of big business and the income inequality. The government thinks that ever-growing corporations will stifle free competition, so Congress passes the Sherman Antitrust Act, which makes trusts illegal if they interfere with free trade. Government prosecution of companies proved to be difficult, so the government stops enforcing this act. All of this big business is happening while the South is recovering from the Civil War. Because they were recovering from the Civil War, they were hindered by a lack of capital. The North, they own 90% of all stock in the railroad, as well as the most profitable Southern businesses. High transportation costs, tariffs, and the fact that there were a few skilled workers are all reasons the big business boom bypassed the South. A few questions for you to answer. Which of the following correctly describes the attitude of business leaders about government intervention in industry? A. It would benefit the economy. B. It would hurt weaker companies. C. It would lead to increased profit. Or D. It would destroy individual self-reliance. Which of the following correctly explains how Andrew Carnegie improved his manufacturing operation to maximize profit? A. He used vertical integration to limit his competition. B. He searched for ways to make better products more cheaply. C. He used horizontal integration to gain control of his suppliers. Or D. He created holding companies to gain control of other industries.